Riley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for November 2024. So on November 15th, we have two different energy shifts taking place. The first one is Saturn going direct. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, I'm going to recommend you do so. If you haven't captured that particular energy shift in your November energy guide, I'm going to recommend you do that as well. We have the second astro shift taking place just hours after Saturn decides to go direct, which happens to be our full moon in Taurus energy. So there's a lot to unpack. I am going to recommend that you download your moon guide if you haven't already. Do a deep dive in the shadow work, in the change, and the transformation that is taking place under this particular moon event. We are going to see the full moon in Taurus pop off at its peak potency at 4:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are going to have this full moon in Taurus at 24 degrees. So we have to understand that this full moon is, again, a full illumination of hidden information, hidden details that we weren't privy to up until this particular point. A full moon illuminates new emotions coming to the surface of our awareness in order for us to actually do something about it. We have to process it, we have to integrate it, we have to release it, we have to change it, transform it into something powerful, into something good. Because the full moon is going to fully illuminate in this Taurus energy, it means that there's going to be a spotlight on our physical form, on our physical lives, physical body, routines, relationships, money matters, long-term goals, and visions. And of course, the Taurus energy being a fixed earth sign, there's a lot of resistance to the changes that we know that we need to make. Of course, the sun over there in Scorpio energy shining a very bright light on where certain parts of self, certain parts of our realm of our reality have to die. They have to end. We have to close the door upon them. Why? Because we have to resurrect ourselves. This is a rebirthing process. We've been talking about the caterpillar to the butterfly process, and here we are in this full moon energy, fully illuminating us, the butterfly, now broken out of the cocoon, now testing our wings out for the first time. And just as we take liftoff, just as we gain a little bit of insight, a little bit of a bigger, broader perspective by now flying and not being a land dweller, we're able to see our lives from a different set of eyes. We're able to see where in our physical realms changes, transformations need to take place because the caterpillar built that particular realm in reality. And now the butterfly cannot live in the parameters that the caterpillar were comfortable living in. So we have a very interesting dynamic here because, of course, this is about the abrupt endings that need to take place. I say abrupt because, and if you download your moon guide, you would know that Uranus, the great awakener, who is retrograde in this Taurus energy, is a very, very heavy participant. I would say between Uranus and Pluto, the spotlight is definitely on them. We have Uranus at 25 degrees. We have the moon at 24 degrees. This is a conjunction. A conjunction is just as much of an ending as it is a beginning. And under the influence of the sun in Scorpio, we are definitely going to see a destabilization in our physical form, in our emotions, in our mind space, in order for us to realize where there needs to be a wake up, where there needs to be a shake up, where it is that we have to cut the cord with our attachments to the past, to those particular aspects that the caterpillar old version of self had built and created, that the new butterfly version of self now needs to bring to a certain term of acceptance, needs to close the door upon, and of course pivot and start building a realm and a reality that is much more in alignment with being a butterfly. So Uranus being retrograde in this Taurus energy, of course, has been trying to show us, illuminate for us, where it is that we're holding on to dead weight, where it is that we're beating a dead horse, so to speak. We have grown, we have evolved, we have changed, we have a new level of awareness, our heart has shifted, we have different values, different priorities. We want to build and create something new. We want to build and create a realm and reality that not only looks good, but that feels good as well. So why are we holding on? Why are we so hell-bent on keeping things the same when we know that we've been praying for change. That is the fixed earth energy of Taurus. So Uranus is bringing in this lightning bolt, destabilizing, shaking us up, throwing wild card energies at us and some wrenches, if you will, in order for us to see one last time where it is that the weak ass structures in our lives, whether it's routines, relationships, our health and wellness, our resources, our money matters, our long-term goals and visions, where it is that they are weak as F. And again, we are looking to rebuild, restructure, rearrange the things that are working, the things that we're actually in alignment with. The things that aren't working, those weak ass structures, they need to go. We need to crumble them. We need to destroy them. We need to allow them to collapse so that we can come in, do a cleanup on aisle 5 and remove the debris so that we can start building something better in the place of the things that we're currently removing. Now, we talked briefly about Pluto. Let's talk about Pluto for just a second. We are seeing Pluto at this 29 critical crisis karmic degree, 29 degrees in Capricorn until the 19th. We will never see Pluto in Capricorn energy ever again. We are closing out a chapter that began in 2008. It was the beginning of the end of the old world as we knew it. And it took 15/16 years in order for us to get our shit together, for us to totally destabilize, destroy the larger foundations, the systems, the constructs, not only that society operates under, but again, has a major influence on our own individual lives as well. We have the moon and Uranus in a conjunction, powering up and really blending those individual energies together in order to trine Pluto, which is a beautiful interaction. This is the last hurrah, if you will, that lightning bolt that Uranus is giving us, coming in, striking the earth, is definitely going to destabilize a lot and shake the foundations of our physical lives so that Pluto at this final critical crisis karmic degree in Capricorn energy can finally see the structures fall. This is Pluto's last scene in this Capricorn energy, and this is going to be a final hurrah before the curtain is called on Mr. Pluto here on the 19th. And so we have to expect, because this is a major ending, a major transitional point, we have to expect that there's going to be some major aha moments, some major revelations, some major wake-ups and shake-ups that, of course, is going to illuminate where it is that there's still a little tiny work to be done, again, calling in those cleanup crews, in order to clean the debris of the old world that the old version of self had built and created. This is going to be major transformation, especially on a soul level. We are in Scorpio season. Pluto rules over Scorpio season. He's literally waiting till the final degrees of Scorpio season in order to pass that baton over to Aquarius energy. No joke. Everything is divinely scripted. And we are going to see the final fallout under this particular full moon in Taurus energy. So if you download the Moon Guide, which I highly recommend you do, you're going to realize that there are a lot of very positive aspects taking place in order to encourage us to kind of get our sights kind of honed in on this new mission, on this new path, on this new goal, this new vision, this new dream. And we're also understanding where it is that we have some not so nice thoughts and feelings still coming up from the ego programming that trying to talk us out of doing all the things that we know that we got to do. This is boss up energy. Again, Saturn, the Lord of Karma, just went direct hours before this full moon is going to be popping off. And so we are bossing up to new levels of roles and responsibilities. We are putting that general foreman hat, helmet, hard hat back on our heads. We are taking a good look of this workspace that right now is in disarray, and we are getting a plan together on what needs to be done. First of all, what needs to be cleared up, what needs to be cleaned out, what needs to be closed away from our current reality. We have to clean the foundation of the old structure, this old house that the wrecking ball just knocked down. We have to remove the debris in order to expose the foundation that we're planning on building this new house upon. And so although we're all eager beavers wanting to build and create and bring new things to life and start advancing and making progress in a new path and a new direction, you can't do any of that until you have a space to build and create all of these beautiful things. And right now, there's still a couple walls that are standing. They're not being supported in a great way. The wind could definitely take them out. And you best believe that the destabilization, the shaking of the earth that will happen with this Uranus and Moon conjunction will allow those last final decrepit walls to actually fall. This is going to be a beautiful thing. Of course, anytime Uranus is involved, we have to expect the unexpected. Because Taurus is about the physical body, the physical realm, and, where it is that our values are changing and where it is that we want to build and create something new, there's likely going to be a lot of tension. Again, if you take a look at the con list of these aspects are showing us where it is that we're going through growing pains. And we have a lot of growing pains going on, especially with our mental plane, getting the mind right, getting focused, nipping those negative narratives in the bud, so to speak. We have Venus on deck trying to get our heart aligned. Lucky for us, she is in Capricorn energy, giving us that anchor, giving us that groundedness, giving us that focus on what we need to build and create that we are heart aligned with, that is going to stand the test of time. Again, that Capricorn energy is the long-term plan, the long-term goal, the long-term vision. So between getting our heart right and our head right, between acting as the observer, taking notes on what we have to execute, what needs to be done, we do have a lot of reflection also going on, because in order for us to figure out where it is that we want to go, we have to figure out how it is that we've gotten here. We have to figure out the choices that we made, the wounds that we allowed to make those particular choices of the old world, the old realm and reality that, of course, right now we are crumbling, we are removing, we are closing the door upon so that we have a clean space, a clean slate to start fresh, to start new. So there's definitely a lot going on. We have to understand that this is a battle royale, if you will, between the ego wanting to keep the physical world the same and the soul and the spirit realizing that keeping that the same means that we are going to be constantly be stuck in a mold that we were never designed to fit into. And so this is kind of a back and forth inner realm and outer realm debate on what needs to stay, what needs to go. We've had plenty of time to review, again, who and what needs to stay and needs to go. Now is the time where we're actually going to see a lot of those changes that we've realized in our inner realm, in our heart space, in our head space, actually materialize. Now, as great as that may be to hear for some of us, it is also going to create a huge amount of grief. We have to understand that Saturn and Pisces energy is the purification, the cleansing that the earth plane needs to remove all the gunk, remove all the funk, remove those darker thoughts, emotions, actions of the lower levels of consciousness. This is all playing into each other. This is all a domino effect. And if you find yourself in a situation in your own life circumstances where there are endings, there are closures, and you're experiencing a lot of heartache, a lot of grief in watching those things come to an end, please just remind yourself that nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. And I would be very concerned about you if you were saying goodbye and closing the door on a lot of things that were once very important to you and you had no heartache at all. You have to feel it in order to heal it. This is a positive indicator that you are evolving, you are growing, you are healing, and even amongst the pain, you need to be proud of yourself. We have to understand that the Taurus energy stems from self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem, understanding that you are worthy of happiness, that you are deserving of happiness, and we have to remove the false belief system, again, Saturn and Pisces, that had you believing that you didn't. So this is an awkward transition. It's an awkward adjustment. We are definitely at the finality of this caterpillar turning into butterfly series, and we are about to watch the things crumble because the things need to crumble into a pile of ash before we can rise up as the phoenix. And that will be happening in the final days of Scorpio season.